The tussle for water between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka is back in the news yet again over construction of a reservoir in Mekedatu. While Yediyurappa is sure the project will benefit both the states, excuse me, Stalin strongly opposed the plan, calling for it to be scrapped. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin wrote to his Karnataka counterpart and said that the project would impact water quota due to Tamil Nadu and the project would affect the interests of Tamil Nadu farmers. B.S. Yediyurappa has written to Stalin asking him not to oppose this proposal. He said the project is bound to benefit both the states and that it will not affect Tamil Nadu farmers, adding that Karnataka will only take its share of water. The 9,000 crore rupees Mekedatu project remains a long-standing point of friction between the two states. Let's take this across to my colleague Akshita Nandagopal, who's going to be telling us more about the Mekedatu project. Over to you, Akshita.
What the contentious Mekedatu project is all about. This is a mammoth project that's been in the pipeline for quite some time and a very contentious one. It's a 9,000 crore rupees reservoir project along Mekedatu. The proposal is essentially to build a reservoir over the Kaveri river that flows from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu. This dam aims to provide drinking water to Bengaluru, which is struggling right now with a water crisis. So what this reservoir will ensure is 400 megawatts of power will also be generated, and that will help the state. This project was approved by the Karnataka government a few years ago in 2017. The Tamil Nadu government is dead against it. They approached the Supreme Court against the project in 2018, saying that our farmers will be adversely impacted. But Karnataka in turn assured that this project will not affect water flow to Tamil Nadu, that it will continue as seamlessly as it has been now, and that's why they're saying this project should be allowed.
The relaxation in COVID restrictions announced by the Yediyurappa government are going to be coming into effect from today. The timing of the night curfew is also going to be relaxed from the current 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Let's take a look at what's allowed, what's not. Theatres, pubs, educational institutions, colleges would be closed. Stadiums, swimming pools would be opened only for training purposes, whereas large congregations, political or religious gatherings have been prohibited. Wedding and family gatherings are allowed with the presence of not more than 100 people. In cremation and funerals, maximum 20 people will be allowed. Shops, malls, restaurants are supposed to enforce COVID norms, failing which action is going to be taken under the Disaster Management Act. The relaxations would be in place for the next 15 days in the state. In the last 24 hours, the State Health Department has reported 1,564 fresh cases, 4,775 discharges and 59 deaths. The pandemic and consecutive lockdowns have left farmers across the country in grave apathy. Here's a story about Nagaraj, a farmer from Tamil Nadu who was forced to transform his child's bicycle to feed his family.
Our farmers have borne the maximum brunt of many lockdowns. Meet 37-year-old Nagaraj from Tamil Nadu's Tirutani, who was down to his last penny. He used to cultivate samangi flower, which is used in garlands and for temple offerings. But lockdown shut places of worship and curbs were imposed on weddings, leaving Nagaraj jobless. But as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. Instead of giving up, Nagaraj improvised. He converted his son's bicycle into a plow.
எங்கள் பையன் ஸ்கூலில் அது கூட கொடுத்த சைக்கிள் எடுத்து ரெடி பண்ணி நான் ஓட்டினு இருக்கேன் ஐயா. இதனால் எனக்கு நல்லா என்ன வழி இல்லை, சாப்பாடு கூட இல்லை, யாரும் உதவி பண்ண மாட்டாங்க அப்படின்ற பட்சத்தில் நான் செய்து ரெடி பண்ணி போனேன்.
Moved by Nagaraj's determination, his family also decided to help him in the field. Nagaraj's 11-year-old son, Dhananjayan, instead of sulking that his beloved cycle was taken away, offered to help his father in the field.
நான் அப்பா பின்னாடி பிடிச்சிப்பேன், அப்பா வெளிப்பாரு, அதை நான் கூட தள்ளுவேன், அவ்வளோதான். நான் அப்பாவுக்கு சாப்பாடு எடுத்து தருவேன், அப்போ ஓட்டுவேன் கொஞ்ச நேரம். ஸ்கூல் க்ளோஸில் இருந்தேன், ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுவேன் அப்பாவுக்கு.
Nagaraj's brother Alex explained how growing samangi is a tough task, as you can't expect any return from the first 6 months, and they have already lost 2 seasons due to lockdown.
அதனால் எங்களால் சமாளிக்க முடியல. அதனால தான் நாங்கள் ஒரு சின்ன இன்விடேஷனாக அந்த சைக்கிள் ரெடி பண்ணி நானும் எங்கள் அண்ணன் எங்கள் அப்பா எல்லாம் வந்து இந்த பயிரில் வந்து செலவு பண்ணுறோம். இந்த லாக்டவுன் பீரியடில் வந்து நாங்கள் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டு இந்த பூ வந்து விற்கவே முடியல எங்களால்.
As the pandemic shows no signs of abating, Nagraj could be a shining example for others struggling to make both ends meet on how to battle adversity and not lose hope.
They say necessity is the mother of all invention, but here the issue is survivability. And that's the reason this father has converted a government-issued cycle to his son into this contraption and ploughing his field because he wants to survive and make sure that his family is fed. With video journalist Divyan, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
The vaccination scam in Mumbai explodes further after the police discovered that 352 employees of Atomberg Technologies in Navi Mumbai were also a victim of the vaccination scam. Employees of the firm were given the vaccine on 23rd April and the firm paid 4.24 lakh for the jabs. However, the staff did not develop any post-vaccine symptoms and did not get any certification. They were given jabs by the same gang accused in the vaccine racket in Mumbai. Navi Mumbai DCP Suresh Bengari said that the company had come in contact with Manish Tripathi, who has already been arrested by Mumbai police in the previous vaccination scams in the city. Navi Mumbai police has filed an FIR, taking the total FIRs filed in the case to 11. Police officials have hinted that more FIRs in the coming days in the case will be filed.
ये एक्यूज पर्सन्स जो है वो ऑलरेडी कांदिवली में एक ऑफेंस में अरेस्टेड है. उनकी ट्रांसफ़र वारंट लेके उनको ट्रांसफ़र किया जाएगा इस ऑफेंस में और हम पता करेंगे कि इन्होंने वैक्सीन के जगह क्या लोगों को क्या दिया, कौन सा इंजेक्शन दिया, उसमें कोई एक्सपर्ट्स थे या नहीं थे, ये डॉक्टर है या नहीं, ये सारा मटेरियल उन्होंने कहाँ से लाया.
A fresh controversy in Rajasthan has erupted after BJP on Friday lashed out at Gehlot Lament, accusing it of buying oxygen concentrators at inflated prices. The state government has denied all the charges with the health department, clarifying the stance. Devankur Vadhavan with this report.
Ashok Gehlot-led Rajasthan government in the dock after allegations of corruption over the acquisition of oxygen concentrators. Opposition BJP has claimed that the state government purchased oxygen concentrators that were faulty at inflated prices and dealt with dubious companies. The charges of corruption came right from the Union Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, who said the pandemic profiteering is in vogue in Congress-ruled states. BJP State President Satish Punia accused the CM of profiteering during tragedy.
ये जो कंसंट्रेटर मिला वो भी हमारे को 26-27 तारीख पर मिला, जब तक कि ऑक्सीजन का जो कोरोना का जो पीक था वो उतार पे था, केसेस कम होने लग गए थे, बेड खाली होने लग गए थे. तो ऐसी स्थिति में ये सिर्फ कमीशन खोरी, कांग्रेस का कमीशन खोरी से ही जुड़ा हुआ मामला है.
Gehlot government has denied all allegations, says that it maintained transparency during the purchase. Notification issued by the Rajasthan Health Department stated that global quotations for oxygen concentrators were sought and they were purchased at a lesser rate after negotiations. Ajmer District Collector has clarified that a report will be filed by a 3-member team.
मेरे द्वारा कंपनी प्रतिनिधियों के साथ, एमएलए साहब के प्रतिनिधियों के साथ इसी कक्ष में चर्चा भी की गई और उसके बाद कंपनी प्रतिनिधि से बिंदुवार जवाब भी ले लिया है. जब प्रभारी मंत्री जी आए थे उस समय भी ये मुद्दा उठाया गया था, तो सीएमएचओ साहब ने जांच उस समय 3 सदस्यीय जेएलएन टीम को दी हुई है.
Several union ministers, including Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, have latched upon it to hit out at the Gehlot government, accusing it of profiteering during pandemic through purchase of oxygen concentrators at exorbitant rates. The Gehlot government, on the other hand, has claimed that complete transparency was maintained in the purchase of oxygen concentrators during the second wave, for which global quotations were also invited. With Nikhil Sharma, Devankur Vadhavan in Jaipur, India Today.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is going to be setting out plans for the final step of easing the lockdown in England today. The plan will also include guidance on social distancing, face coverings, working from home. The legal restrictions to prevent the spread of COVID-19 are due to be lifted on 19th of July, and the decision on the go-ahead is scheduled for 12th of July. Johnson is expected to stress that people will learn to live with COVID as they do already with the flu. This implies that hospitalization, serious illness, and deaths will continue, but at a much lower than before widespread vaccination. Data shows that Britain has vaccinated 86% of adults receiving a first dose and 64% receiving 2 doses up until now. However, the Delta variant has led to a surge in the number of cases and delayed the easing of lockdown by 4 weeks. Everybody needs a vaccine passport. It is all set to become the most popular and sought-after document in the world, all for the love and need for international travel. But the process of incorporating this in our system is not going to be easy. Far from easy. There are many impediments along the way. Sneha Mordani listing out the possible impediments. Take a look.
One and a half years ago, all you needed was a visa and an air ticket to fly out of the country. Planning to go abroad now? A vaccine certificate will also be needed. The European Union is asking for it. So are nations like Israel. A vaccine passport could well be a necessity of the future. For now, it's still work in progress. It could be in the form of a stamp or a certificate. Whatever form it comes in, what is clear is that incorporating it in the system will see many challenges. In days to come, these vaccine certificates will come in various forms, digital, physical, or just a barcode. But introducing it in the passport system would mean a longer processing time. Having it within an app may not be feasible for all. Paper certificates run the risk of ending up in fraud.
Paper forms are being widely used, they are very convenient, but they carry with them the risk of duplication and forgery. The other option being discussed is that of a mobile app. But this again assumes that everyone has access to a smartphone, which is not the case.
Affordability, procedures and privacy issues will make vaccine passports difficult to implement is what experts are saying. To top it all, airports and airlines are working independently with international air travel associations to have some sort of a digital pass. Then countries are also working in isolation, and there is lack of uniformity when it comes to the World Health Organization, because the World Health Organization has said, as of now, vaccine passports are not required. The process has become even more complicated, with some vaccines not accepted by countries. The European Union initially rejected Serum Institute's Covishield. Many countries are still to recognize Covaxin. With many more vaccines on the horizon, the issue will only get further complicated.
The vast majority of individuals in low and middle income countries can't access vaccines. It might create an immunity-based class system where the individuals who haven't been able to access vaccination now can't access areas, and geographic areas are closed off to them.
What is clear is that international travel is bound to normalize sometime in the near future to pre-COVID levels, which means nations will have to arrive at an acceptable solution very quickly to end the suspense for travelers. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today.
All right, there's an increasing thrust on vaccination across the globe. There are also talks of vaccine passports to facilitate movement of people across borders. So what exactly is a vaccine passport and how can you get one in India? Here's all that you need to know about it.
The World abruptly came to a stop when the pandemic broke out in early 2020. Now, with the decline in cases of COVID-19 and increased vaccinations, there is a need to get back to business. And for this, a vaccine passport might just make things easier when it comes to international travel. So what really is a vaccine passport? Vaccine passport or immunity passport is documentary proof that the person has been vaccinated against COVID-19. Who's asking for a vaccine passport? Countries of the European Union, 27 of them, are asking for a vaccine passport. China has rolled out an app-based vaccine certificate. Japan too has done it. The UK announced it in the month of May. Israel also has announced one. What about India then? The government recently updated the Arogya Setu app, making it possible for people to link their passport to their vaccination status. For it, you have to go through the CoWIN portal. Vaccinated people can log in to cowin.gov.in, go to account details section and click on raise issue. 3 options could be seen. Choose add passport details option. This is going to take you to a different page where one can select the name of the person whose passport details are to be updated in this. Choose the name of the concerned person from the drop-down menu and fill the passport number in the Enter Beneficiary's Passport Number section. In step 5, you're required to tick the declaration box. Do cross-check and verify details before ticking the box and clicking on Submit Request tab. You will receive a message on the registered mobile number notifying that the status was updated successfully. In the final step, you need to go back to account details page and click on Certificate tab. Your vaccine passport is now available for download.
Breaking news coming in Kolkata. BJP is going ahead with the protests against alleged fake vaccine scam. Police have set up barricades at various points and water cannons are also on standby. Dilip Ghosh, State President Shivendu Adhikari, Leader of Opposition, are leading the protests, as you can see on your screens at the moment. Protests from Subodh Malik Square, Hind Cinema to Kolkata Municipal Corporation to protest against the fake vaccine scam. That's the latest coming in at the moment. Prema is now joining us for the very latest on this particular story. Prema, what's happening? BJP going ahead with protests against alleged fake vaccine scam. All the barricades have been put up at various points as well. And from the visuals that are coming in of the BJP protests, where is the social distancing norm? Some people not even wearing masks. What's going on over here?
This is exactly what was the concern of the Kolkata police when they had written a letter to the BJP denying permission for this rally, citing COVID protocols. And here we can see that the BJP supporters and leaders are still part of this rally. We can see Agnimitra Paul over here, the MLA. She's speaking and she is part of this rally amongst other supporters also. But there is no social distancing, Chaiti, like you mentioned. That is a major concern, even as COVID protocols are in place, and that is one of the reasons that the Kolkata police had denied permission. But clearly, with various barricades in different parts of the city, the police attempting to stop the BJP from going ahead with their protest towards Kolkata Municipal Corporation. But as we speak, Chaiti, we can see that the BJP is pushing its way on Central Avenue towards KMC, and the police are attempting to stop the BJP supporters here at Central Avenue. We can see various supporters and the leader. We can see Agnimitra Paul here and the police over here as well. Even as supporters are seen over here. In fact, one even attempted to sit on the road has been picked up by the police. She has been made to stand, and chaos here on Central Avenue. The rally had started from Subodh Malik Square and College Street, and it was supposed to go through a certain route, and there were barricades and water cannons in place. But the BJP changed the course of their route, and we can see that now they are going on Central Avenue after changing their route, still making their way towards KMC, towards the Kolkata Municipal Corporation. However, the BJP, the Kolkata police has put up the barricades. The BJP is not likely to make their way all the way to the Kolkata Municipal Corporation, given the fact that there is heavy police deployment in various parts on the road leading to the Kolkata Municipal Corporation. Yet the BJP determined to send out this message that when it comes to the fake vaccination scam,
Stay with us with those visuals that are coming in and tell us what's going on too. But here the big question is on social distancing norms amidst the pandemic and all the caution and COVID protocol thrown to the wind. On your screens right now, what you can see are protests that are taking place in COVID times. It's a pandemic going on, and just look at the people right there. The BJP protesters throwing all caution to the wind and protesting right there in Bengal.